All right, New York's a ridiculous trial of former President Donald Trump brought one name back into the headlines, a name you might remember from 2018, Stormy Daniels' attorney, Michael Avenatti. By the way, we reached out to Stormy's new attorney. They haven't got back to us. Meanwhile, Avenatti is currently imprisoned after convictions for extortion, fraud, identity theft, and he recently told Fox News Digital that he thinks Trump has become a, quote, victim of the system. Earlier today, I spoke with Michael Avenatti about the case from prison. All right, joining us now is Michael Avenatti. Michael, thank you for being with us.
Good to be with you, Sean.
19 years in prison, no possibility of parole. That's daunting. I don't wish that on anybody. I'll be very honest. I'm not going to rehash all the stuff that goes behind this, but I'm sure that reality is now set in. What's your life like in there?
Well, I'm doing fine. You know, I'm very blessed, Sean. I've gotten back in touch with my faith. My family stuck by me. You know, 19 years is a draconian sentence, and I've got some pending appeals. It's far in excess of anything I should have ever received, but I'm trying to keep my chin up.
Okay, understand. I'm sure it's not easy. Let me go to the heart of this. This case now that is going on in New York, about $130,000, dollars 8 years ago, and you have said you defended Trump as a victim of the system. I think there's a lot of issues involving the statute of limitations. I have issues involving the judge and donating to Biden. I have issues involving potential conflicts with his family. I have problems with how did they get from a misdemeanor to felony charges on the federal level. As a lawyer, and I'll ask you that first, when you look at the charges itself and the time frame and the judge donating to Biden and possible other family conflicts, what's your reaction to that?
Case is grossly unfair, Sean, and that's going to come as a surprise to a lot of people, but I strongly believe that. What is happening right now to President Trump, and let me be clear, I disagree with President Trump on about 95% of the issues at a minimum. But one thing he and I agree on, and that is that the politicization of these cases, in this case in particular, is gross, it's uncalled for, and it's flat out wrong. This is an effort to deprive millions of Americans of their choice for president. This guy has been indicted now in 4 cases up and down the entire East Coast. Sean, in this country, we don't have serial killers who are prosecuted at the same time in 4 different cases. The timing is wrong, the case is wrong, and he's not receiving due process.
Let me ask you, because you were once, FoxNews.com did an article and they had an interview with you, and they pointed out the one-time, quote, most dangerous enemy of Donald Trump, who a lot of people on the left thought would bring down President Trump's, bring down his presidency. And, I remember at the time, I actually met you one time, and I remember at the time that you were passionate. You had the media all over you. You had the media even suggesting, some of them, that you might run for president one day. And obviously you're taking a very different posture now about the case, about where you were then, what you were saying then, and what you are saying now. Is it your experience that contributed to this, or is this the totality of what happened with you and your former client, the totality of what happened, I guess, with Michael Cohen, the totality of what happened in your own life? Explain. It's such a different Michael Avenatti to me. Can you explain that?
Well, I think it's all of what you mentioned, Sean. I do recall when we met, actually, and I recall you and I got along pretty well, actually, that night. But separate apart from that, I've learned a lot over the last 5 to 6 years, Sean. I've been a product of the system, if you will. I've been ground through the system, fighting 3 cases at one time. I've learned a lot about the media. I've learned a lot about what it's like when the government comes for you, when you're targeted. I've learned a lot about what it means to really get due process or to be deprived of due process. And so, they say you can't teach an old dog new tricks. Well, I guess that's not true, because I've certainly grown a lot and learned a lot over the last 5 years. And that's why I'm saying what I'm saying now, and I firmly believe it.
Let me ask you a question. I mean, if you were to testify in this case. You know that the prosecution would want to impeach you as a witness, and obviously all the issues you've had to deal with over the last number of years, all of that would be brought up. How would you handle that?
I'd handle it directly. I'd handle it truthfully, and I can promise you that I'd be a hell of a lot better witness than Michael Cohen could ever hope to be.
All right, and coming up, a Secret Service officer assigned to Kamala Harris's detail, this is breaking news, reportedly had an altercation with other agents. We have that live report straight ahead. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.